We have the perfect starter here for you tonight as we prepare for another action packed weekend of live rugby. It's happening right here in the beautiful setting of Lakelands Park at Terenure College RFC. It's the Interpro A Championship. It's Leinster A versus Munster A, the old provincial classic. Simon Boughton's Leinster will be looking to make it 2 wins from two after their impressive 28-7 win away to Connacht last week. It's the first assignment of the competition for Gerald Prendergast's Munster. There's 50 players represented across the two squads today, a blend of senior, academy and AIL talent in both ranks. My name is Ciaron Noble and I'm delighted to be joined in the gantry today by AIL royalty, AIL winning coach and Terenure boss, Sean Skehan.
Ciaron, thanks very much for that introduction.
How are you today?
I'm very well, and yourself? Excited for the game?
Oh, very excited. And like as I said in the intro, a lot of academy talent out here today that will want to be putting their hand up and raising a few questions of the coaches for the senior team.
Yeah, definitely. I think both squads, there's a good blend there, like you said. There's some senior cap guys who bring a bit of experience to the fixture, a couple of academy guys, and a couple of guys from AIL land as well. So, like a lot of talent on show, I think for both coaching groups. Obviously Munster in a bit of flux at the moment, with Graham Rowntree heading off, and I think Annie Kershaw was confirmed today to leave. So you just don't know what the landscape will be like in Munster in terms of what the new coaching group might value in terms of performance and things like that. So you would imagine there's a lot of guys there be very keen to try and put their hand up and lay a marker. And then with the Leinster guys, obviously they've got I think it's Ulster next week for Leinster senior team, if I'm not mistaken, back in the URC, and that will be before the Irish internationals get back. So good performance tonight might be able to get them into a URC landscape rather. And then after that, who knows? It's going to be tricky, I think, for Leinster in particular to manage the returning internationals. The European Cup starts up in a couple of weeks, and then their URC commitments as well. So I think Leinster are going to be on the bounce for 12 weeks in a row, I think, once they start. And so again, a lot of the guys who we see tonight might start filtering into some URC games as well. So positive performances, they're going to be a big currency in trying to push yourself into selection going forward. So excited to see how they all go.
And now let's go through the teams. At fullback, Ruben Maloney. On the wings, Axel King and Ciaron Mangan. In the centre, there's Ben Brownlee and Conor Fahey for Leinster. The half-back pairing are Cormac Foley and the very experienced Harry Byrne. In the front row, it's Alex Usanoff, John McKee and Niall Smith. John McKee, of course, from this club in Terenure. In the second row, it's Alan Spicer and Conor O'Tierney. In the back row, we've got Alex Soroka, Scott Penny, who has already got 74 senior caps for Leinster. He's moving to number 8, and number 7 is Liam Maloney. And there's a whole load of people on the bench. For Munster at fullback, they have Ben O'Connor. On the wings, new academy signing, Gordon Wood and Shane McCarthy. In the centre, the very exciting Jean O'Leary Kareem won a Munster School Senior Cup last year. He's partnered with Owen Smith. The halfback pairing is Tony Butler and Paddy Patterson. In the front row, former Irish under-20 Grand Slam winners George Haddon and Ronan Fox. Flank hooker Owen Clark. The second row is Tom Ahern, the most experienced Munster player in the squad today, and the captain, Evan O'Connell. In the back row, they've got Jack Daly, Ruan Quinn, and Brian Gleeson. And on the bench for Leinster, Stephen Smith, Ben Howard, Rory Maguire, Mahan Ronan, Aaron O'Brien, Fintan Gunn, Casper Gabriel, Charlie Maloney, Billy Carrigan, and Terenure's very own Adam LeGrew. And for Munster, on the bench, Scott Buckley, Conor Bartley, Emmett Calvey, Conor Ryan, Sean Adogbo, Jack Oliver, Dylan Hicks, Usheen Pepper, Danny Sheehan, and Hubert Gilvari. So there's lots of players today, 50 as I said. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage the minutes.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like, when you have 25 in a match day and you got 10 guys to come on, I think it can disrupt or interrupt the flow of the game, particularly in that second half. Generally these teams will have kind of a pre-plan around their substitutions when they're going to make them. The biggest hope, I think, for the spectator is that it doesn't, and I think for the players themselves, that it doesn't disrupt the flow too much. You've also obviously got a couple of guys, as we said, from kind of AIL clubland who probably wouldn't be as familiar with some of the systems that they'll be running here tonight. So they probably only had a training session or two and they're trying to get themselves up to speed. So just to see how that all plays itself in the game, I think it'll be pretty interesting. And you hope that, as I say, it doesn't disrupt the flow too much and we see a good game both halves. But I think in this first half in particular, where they're both at their strongest, should be really, really entertaining and see where both teams are.
And 5 Terenure lads in the Leinster team today, Ben Howard, John McKee, Fintan Gunn, Casper Gabriel, and Adam LeGrew. So lads, you know very well.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, it's great for the club, obviously, hosting the fixture. First and foremost, is a huge thrill for us. And you see a lot of the minis and club members down tonight, and there's a good bit of excitement in the air. But having the five guys involved, obviously, and Ben Howard, came through in St. Michael's. Originally, actually, was in the high school and was a St. Mary's club guy. Came to us and was an Irish 20s last year. Really, really good player, and I think has a lot of promise. And I think one who might feel a little bit unlucky that he's still not in the pro pathway in Ireland in John McKee, a captain, a senior cup winning captain, in Campbell College. He obviously had been a prop, converted to hooker, came into Leinster Academy. A guy who, had injury not maybe hit him, could have been involved against Fiji. I mean, Gus McCarthy's obviously had a pretty meteoric rise. I think, coming into the season, John probably would have been a little bit ahead of him. And then obviously Casper Gabriel from our own SET last year, really talented youngster, gunner and here we go.
And Harry Byrne, the Irish international, gets us underway. Pierre Bru, the man in the middle today from France. And Munster get the first touch, and it's an early penalty.
Yeah, no, tough one there for Leinster to give away. So
Just a bit of over exuberance, maybe.
maybe, yeah. Look, they're look, coming in high there. You'd be disappointed with that. Alexi Soroka, another really really good prospect in Leinster's ranks.
And a chance for Tony Butler just to find some meters. And he does exactly that. And it's the first line out of the game. Owen Clark actually started his rugby not too far away from here in Sea Point Rugby Club.
Yeah, that's right. And then went to CBC Monkstown, was a Wanderers club man for a while, had been in and around Leinster, went down to Munster previously, then went to Jersey in the Championship. Unfortunately, Jersey, as some people will probably know, were then liquidated. He was without a gig, and he's come back to Munster now.
And that's a messy line out. Leinster pounce on it straight away, but we're going to have a scrum.
Knock on there from Munster. But Owen's a really, really good player. I think a guy who's pretty dynamic, kind of fits that modern template of a hooker. Really good ball carrier. He's somebody who I think probably I'm actually surprised he probably hasn't featured more at the senior grade for Munster. It's nothing against the hookers that they have, but I would have thought when he arrived there that you'd maybe see a little bit more time and somebody potentially with a coaching change, who might his face might fit a bit more and potentially can kick on and establish himself more with the senior team in the coming this season or next.
And Cormac Foley will put this one in. Actually represented Ireland at show jumping, would you believe, previously?
Yeah. Well, he's a St. Jared's man, so it doesn't totally shock me.
And he'll feed over 20 appearances for the Leinster senior team for the Wicklow man.
Really, really good player.
Harry Byrne. They take it up through the middle, and it's Conor Fahey. He finds the winger, and Ciaron Maguian, he's been in great form in the AIL. He scored 4 tries in 6 games for Blackrock College this season, and he starts off with a bang here today for Leinster.
Yeah, I think Gene will be pretty disappointed there. Gene Cream for Munster, an incredibly exciting prospect that they have in their hands.
And he'll over 20 appearances.
I think a product of Enniscorthy, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's really highly regarded.
Originally Wexford Wanderers.
Was it Wexford Wanderers
Yeah.
and then into Enniscorthy, was it? Yeah. So really, I think he's involved with Clontarf now, but I think he's very highly regarded within Leinster. So really good stiff arm from him. Squared up and obviously played a nice pass and a score. But Leinster will be happy to get on the board early doors, but I'm sure Gene will want to recover from that as the game goes on.
First attempt now for Harry Byrne, and it's a tough one. He strikes it, and it just hits the bar, and it's 5-0 to Leinster here. But Ciaron Mangan, he'll be an Irish under-20 hopeful this season, you think?
Yeah, Dearman's brother, obviously, a really, really talented kid coming out of Newbridge. I know Johnny Murphy, who's the coach there, would have regarded him really highly. I think he's taken really pretty well to the AIL action. As you said, I think he's got a couple of tries for Blackrock early doors, but I think again he's one of those young precocious talents that Leinster have a lot of hope for. And again, finished his try really well there.
Scott Penny with the early carry, and Usinoff was central to the Irish under-20s last season. Byrne goes to the skies for the first time. And a lot of pressure comes on the Munster man, and they spill it. We'll be going back for a scrum here.
Knock on there, I think.
But great tester from Harry Byrne
Yeah,
there
once
early
he got the
on.
ball in, obviously Tony be unhappy with that. He probably had a clean opportunity to get a receipt in, and a knock on. So gives Leinster a good platform here to attack off just in the middle of the pitch, going downhill. So, obviously they scored off their first strike play. They'll be hoping for something similar here.
And is this something coaches like work on a lot, like from set pieces to launch those backline attacks?
Yeah, like I mean, you try and be as accurate as you can with your strikes. Obviously, I think for Leinster, the challenge this week would have been with the various bodies coming in and out, just having enough time to get comfortable with each other. They've obviously got two pretty good strike runners in Brownlee and Fahy there in midfield, and they'll try and make the most of that. But I think Munster will want to make sure that they don't get the access they got in that first strike.
Second scrum, Foley to put it in again. Leinster will be looking for something similar. Byrne takes it to the line, back to his scrum half Foley. He swings it out wide. Here's Mangan ducking and diving, looking for a bit of room. But Munster contesting well at the ruck, but illegally so, says the referee, and they get another penalty, Leinster. A chance for them to go into the corner shot?
I would think so, yeah. They didn't get a tackler release there, I think was what the ref was saying. So, again, look, Munster will need to clean this up. They're giving bad entries and access points for Leinster, and ones that they won't want to give up as easily as the game goes on. But a good line-out opportunity here inside the 22 for Leinster.
This is a huge opportunity for the Leinster forwards to get a bite of the cake. John McKee, when he was previously with Old Belvedere, when I started commentary, he used to love these maul tries. So he'll be licking his lips. But
He's good off the back of them all, no doubt, and really good darts. And I think he's a fantastic player, great guy. He's been brilliant signing for Terenure. And as I said, I think had injuries maybe gone slightly differently, he could have been lined out potentially against Fiji tomorrow. So I know he'll be disappointed that it's gone like that. But a great opportunity for him again to try and re-establish some currency in the Leinster setup and hopefully put himself in a good position to feature for them in the USC games.
And this is an interesting lineup. They have a lot of men in there.
Yeah, they've gone backs in as well.
And
I think
here
they're
comes
trying
the
to tie
push.
up some bodies here.
Brownlee to Byrne.
Yeah, nice.
He gets a little bit of space, looking for his fullback Maloney, but it just malfunctions at the wrong time there for Leinster.
There for me from Harry. Probably didn't need to. They're in a really good position there. And again, they've given up a cheap possession that they won't be happy with. Great line speed.
Ronan Fox with the carry, but he's hit hard and hit well by Scott Penny. They're going for the exit through Butler. And he finds touch, but Leinster still exactly where they'd want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think Harry probably, if you could have that one back, sometimes you're just trying to force it and play it on that first phase. I think they had a good opportunity to maybe recycle there. I think they kind of busted Munster and they were a little bit exposed. I think another couple of phases inside the 22, they might have got a better return than they did. But as you say, look, they're right back, not too far off where they had the original platform.
And Usanoff just giving his orders to John McKee. Conor O'Tierney in the second row for Leinster, and of course Alan Spicer, the man mountain. But it's Scott Penny who takes it. 74 caps for Leinster, the big number 8. Foley takes it out to Brownlee. He puts it out the back to Byrne. Byrne goes, makes some meters. They recycle the ball quickly here. Foley's got numbers. It's a big test for the Munster defence. Rocca tips it on. McKee drives the legs but doesn't make much ground. Byrne puts it through. Munster deal with that pretty well, and was there a high shot in there? But it's going to be a goal line dropout.
Yeah, strange call there from the ref. I think the Munster player brought it back over in his old goal line. And two, I think there was maybe a little bit of high entry from Leinster. So I think either it was going to be a 5 minute scrum for Leinster or a penalty Munster, and they've gone for a goal line dropout. So yeah, a little bit confusing one there.
Harry maybe rushing it again, going in behind.
Look, that one I think there was space to get after. I wouldn't be as critical on to him on that one. Obviously the outcome wasn't what they wanted, but I think he saw some pretty decent space there. I actually thought there were potentially 2 late hits from Munster in on himself. I think it was Ruben Maloney was the outside guy. They've obviously got penalty advantage here now for Leinster. So
Spicer with the carry, the big man. Foley to Byrne to Mangan. He puts it through.
yeah, they have that penalty advantage, so
they have another opportunity to go to the corner now.
Yeah. I think they'll go corner. It'll be interesting to see now how they're approaching the game in terms of will they try and get 8 points and get a 2 score separation, or will they go corner? I think they'll go corner, and they are, yeah.
Something for the forwards to do. John McKee will throw it in, but they've got some serious forwards, Leinster, don't they? Alex Soroka, he's had a lot of problems with injuries. Probably
Yeah,
hasn't played for Leinster as much
no,
as he
they've
would have
got.
liked, but
I
this is a
think.
massive opportunity, this
I think.
championship for him.
I think so. I think, look, Alexi, when he was coming out of school in Belvedere and then into the underage systems, was incredibly heralded as a prospect. Really good kid. And we've come against him a couple of times with Clontarf from Terenure. I think he's a really excellent player, but you just really hope he gets an injury.
That's a lovely line out. Spicer takes it down, and the maul machine is working, but Munster are defending it well, but they're dragging forward.
Yeah.
And they're getting forward again, and that is a try. Leinster's second of the day, and it's John McKee. The Terenure man, there's a wry smile on Sean's face here. And Leinster, 2 tries to the good.
Yeah, look, they've been totally times with Clontarf from Terenure. I think he's a really excellent player. Well to reposition, and John's well used to the back of them all. Finished really well. So 12-0 now. I think we're well. That's on the basis that Harry gets this one. But
From my experience, commentator's curse, you should
never.
and that's why 10-0 the score here. The post isn't kind. Harry Byrne twice in a row now.
Oh yeah, you'd be disappointed with that one. I think missing that one was probably an easy 2 points.
But a brilliant start from Leinster, and Munster really haven't had a chance to get a foothold in this game yet.
Yes, Leinster being pretty accurate. Got 2 scores. They put a couple of 22-meter entries on top of that. So Munster just look, it's tough. Look, I know here, like you're playing up the hill and you're playing upwind. So maybe I don't know if that comes across on the screen as much, but there's a real gradient here. So Tree loses the ball.
Oh, Tierney gets taken out in the air there, and it's a penalty for Leinster.
Again, that's probably like Munster be very disappointed with that. They got a good contestable in there. Tree kind of misjudges it, and again they're just giving away a crazy penalty there, and again giving up an entry point. Which they
Ill discipline. That's frustrating for the coach.
Yeah, I think so. Like again, look, a lot of new combinations, and I'm sure all of them are trying to make an impression. But like you just got to make sure when you've just conceded, particularly when you put up a contestable like that, you're giving the guys a good chance to get after it. And I think that could have been very easily a scrum Munster, but instead now they're defending another line out set.
And John McKee's had plenty of lineouts already in this game. Who's going to be his target this time? It's going to be Soroka. He takes it in the sky. And Leinster looking confident on the ball at the minute. Soroka takes it up. They put it through the back line. Mangan swallowed up.
I think so.
And if there's hands on that one.
It's got a bit isolated there.
Gino Leary-Kareem was on it fast as well.
Yeah, they defended that a little bit better. Ruben probably a little bit disappointed with his entry on the ruck there. Now, I'm not actually sure if that's what the penalty was given for, but it looked like he came in on side. And again, gives Munster an opportunity just to relieve a bit of pressure.
Tony Butler looking for some purchase off this one, brings them into the Leinster half, which they haven't really been in so far.
I'm hoping to correction here. I think this is their first possession inside the Leinster half here. So again, they want to be accurate here. Munster's line out at senior levels been under a lot of pressure this season. So they want to make sure that it gives them an access point.
And they have big men in that line out. Evan O'Connell, the captain, but Tom Ahern, 50 Munster caps to his name. And they take it down. But the hooker is hit hard. Leinster coming up quick. Not giving them any room. Patterson to O'Connell. But he doesn't get much traction. Patterson looking for a snipe. But the front door is closed on him. And the ball is spilled. And Leinster get on it. And can they launch a counter-attack? Foley.
Kick here, I'd say.
Byrne finds the space. But that's straight into the hands of Ben O'Connor. And he runs it back. He looks for support and he finds it. Just on halfway here. Munster trying to play now for the first time. But that line speed, it's suffocating for Munster at the moment.
Big time. They're trying to play nice tight shapes and try and get outside. Knock on there, I think, by Munster. No, letting it go.
The referee doesn't agree with you on that one, Sean. Munster still have, but they are really struggling at the moment. Just throwing it around, hoping for something to happen. Ronan Fox is lined up. There's a real aggression in this Leinster defence. Brian Gleeson, a hard man to stop, but he didn't get much out of that.
That's where
But they get it out wide.
those outside edges.
And here's Ruin Quinn. A rush defence does leave a bit of space out wide.
Yeah, that's where you're vulnerable. Obviously, Leinster are prioritising getting that line speed in ever since Jack came in. And you can see it notice. I think that the toughest possessions for Munster are when they're on edge themselves. They're playing back into forward group. Leinster are getting real good line speed and their tackle entries are pretty good and aggressive. But when you kind of come off that next phase, if you're not accurate, like Munster showed there, they can maybe find some purchase on outside.
You are susceptible to that long ball over the top.
Yeah, it was good bridge, and obviously they got in. Ruan's a real athlete. You know, if you're tackling him 1v1, it's going to be pretty tricky. I think that's what Munster have got to try and hope for. If they can get a decent carry off 9 off an edge and play another phase, they can maybe find a little bit of space on the outside. They just got to be disciplined, make sure they're looking after the breakdown. Ball carries good. Times up front, Terenure. I think he's a really excellent player, but you just really hope he gets an injury.
That's a lovely line out.
Spicer
Spicer takes it down.
It was
And the
moving.
ball
It looked as
machine
if
is
Munster
working,
managed to stop
but
it,
Munster
then
are
Leinster got
defending it
going
well.
again.
Yeah, I
But
think
they're
they got
dragging
outside,
forward.
outside wall there,
And
pretty
they're
well.
getting forward again, and that is
Munster, I think, would be disappointed at how they managed it. Obviously, given Leinster, you know, 10 points. Now, look, I think that 22-meter entry potentially would have gone try for Leinster either way, but you don't want to give it up off that first phase. And there's a player down here, Ciaron. Do you see who it is?
Oh, it'd be interesting to see. I think it's a Leinster man.
It's Leinster, yeah.
Hopefully he's okay, but that's the one thing the teams have in abundance today is substitutes.
Yeah, could be an opportunity for somebody else, but hopefully now it's nothing too serious.
You never like to see a player on the floor.
Oh. Very really good clearos. 13.
And I always think, Sean, in these situations, Munster are a little bit different to Leinster in the fact that maybe there's more scope for some of these lads that
Niall
play.
Smith, I think it is, tight head. Seems to have a shoulder issue here.
It looks like it's gone. So Niall Smith could be leaving the park.
Yeah, he is. They're making a change here. Rory Maguire used to leave Blackrock previously. He's coming on. I hope it's nothing too serious for Niall. A real prospect in the Irish game. But it doesn't look that good the way he's walking off and holding it there. He's got Professor John Ryan with him. One of the best medical experts in the game, so hopefully he'll be well looked after. It's nothing too major. Sorry, Ciaron, I could have crossed you there. What were you saying?
No, it's all good. I was just saying that in Leinster, there's so many academy players, but for some of these Munster guys, there is a genuine case that if they play well today, they can put themselves into selection. But Tony Butler doesn't find touch there, and he'll be frustrated with that. But they get a good chase, they get the block down. But Leinster will have a line out deep inside their own red zone. But he went for it all there, Tony Butler, didn't he? It just didn't pay off.
Yeah. Look, those ones it's tricky because you're trying to maximise the kick, and the return over a season. If you do that, obviously he'd be disappointed to miss it. Gives Leinster an opportunity to exit. Obviously, would have been a big entry point for Munster. But I think back to the academy point. Yeah, like Leinster, are obviously have the surplus of players. I think all the academies in Ireland, they can hold 24 players at any given time. So generally, the way that would work is that you have 8 guys in year 1, 8 guys in year 2, or 8 guys in year 3. You get to the 24. Not always the case because there are a few sign off on every academy entrance, so that they need to be fairly certain that this guy has a potential future career professionally. I don't think Munster are quite close to 24. I think
Ben O'Connor
good break here.
has a chance to gallop. Munster looking for a quick ball. Butler throws it over the top.
Edge again, we're talking about, and you'd hope Shea would pull the trigger.
They're going for it every time, Munster, but it just slips out of O'Leary Kareem's hands there.
Yeah.
But as we said, Munster are targeting that edge.
Yeah, they are. And they did well there to find it on a bridge. I think you'd hope Gene would have trusted himself maybe to make that pass. He's definitely more than capable of doing it. But again, maybe there was a pressure, miss kick. They're under a little bit of pressure. in terms of scoreline, and they decided not to go for it.
Gordon Wood, of course, recently signed for the Munster Academy last week.
Brilliant player. We played Gary Owen last week here with Terenure, and he featured for them. I think a real prospect Munster have in their hands. I know they really, really highly rate him. I think all three of Keith's young fellas are featuring for Gary Owen this season, and between Tom and Gordon, I think they've two involved with Munster. So obviously pretty impressive family genes there, and no doubt Munster will hope that they can kick on and be big players for them in the future.
And it will be a scrum to Leinster. 10-0 to score here in Lakelands Park. It's a cold one, but it's a lovely night for rugby. Other than that,
No, it is. I mean, conditions, like you say, it's cold, rain forecasted in this evening, but hopefully we'll avoid it here. Um,
and a chance to get a first look at Rory Maguire since coming in.
yeah, look, Rory's one. I think he's coming to the end of his academy, so it's either will he get into the senior setup in Leinster or will he not?
That's the hard question. That's gonna have to happen for a lot of talented rugby players in Ireland at the moment, and especially Leinster.
No, big time.
Foley, Leinster get a good squeeze on here. Maybe looking for a penalty, but we're gonna have a reset. And interestingly, Pierre Bru, the referee, I was told, has refed in the Pro D2 in France.
Yeah, so I think his flight was actually cancelled yesterday. And came in today. An opportunity for the officiating team as well, obviously. So hopefully, uh, maybe one or two calls so far. I don't know if he's been right on the money, but highly regarded nonetheless, and hopefully he has a good game.
Foley waiting to put it in. Leinster seem to have a little bit of a nudge in that scrum, Sean.
Yeah, I think I think Rory's
He
certainly
brings that
given,
weight, that power.
yeah, and just a bit of experience. Niall's only straight out of school in Blackrock.
But that's solid for Munster.
No, they
Much better. But Leinster look to put it through the hands, but it's a slippy one. Maloney can't quite grasp it. He has to regather, and he's still going, dragging the legs, dragging the body. But Munster have stolen it, and that's a really good steal. Shane McCarthy getting his paws on that one. Here's the inside centre. Eager to make an impact. Here's Brian Gleeson. Leinster again coming up fast. But Munster getting a bit more tempo in their play at the moment.
Oh, nice play.
Ben O'Connor
Unlucky.
looks for Wood, but they just weren't on the same hymn
I
sheet
think
there.
actually Shay's at 14 there, and Woods at 11, I think. Play quick.
Harry Byrne with the block down.
Line out Leinster.
Munster are growing into it a little bit more in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, they've got some field position, which obviously is going to be pretty important to them. Again, as I say, it seems to be a player coming off here for Leinster. Liam Maloney, I think, at number 7.
Wide open a chance for Aaron O'Brien, maybe. Or it's Billy Corrigan.
Billy Corrigan's come on for him, yeah. Liam's had a tough time injury-wise. You can see him, he's pretty distraught coming off there. Came through Blackrock.
Made a senior debut for Leinster last
He's
season.
a really, really good player. He just hasn't been able to get any luck on the injury side. Was with Trinity, has subsequently moved. Bad line out miss there.
And it's an overthrow from Leinster. And Munster pounce on the scraps. Gleeson lining up. Butler. Munster trying to find some go forward here. Penalty advantage. Patterson just controlling it here. But Leinster not creaking in defence, but Munster do have that penalty if they want to go back to it. And Butler's looking for the bounce, but it doesn't come, but the penalty's coming anyway.
I think it's offside by Leinster there.
And that is probably the other risk with high line speed is that sometimes you can creak offsides.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, intent is obviously big in that Leinster defensive system. They want to try and get off and put pressure on skills. Just a little bit over eager on that occasion, but a great entry point here for Munster, and taking at a score here.
A
You know,
great,
brings the game right back in the balance.
a great opportunity for Munster. Clark, big darts from him now, and they've got a lot of targets in that line out. A lot of men to throw it to. Ahern, O'Connell,
Yeah, they're going 6+1 here, so you'd imagine they're going to maul it.
and they are going to that maul. But it's Leinster who get the penalty.
They'll be really disappointed with that, Munster.
And it looked like that was Munster's chance to get on the scoreboard. But
Yeah,
again,
just an infringement there, lack of accuracy maybe. Again, something that's probably been plaguing Munster at senior level this season, and something that I know they're very wary of, and they know that they need to get fixed. So they'll be disappointed with that. Particularly up the wind and up the hill. You know, if you get an opportunity at a 5 meter line out, you know, you don't want to give it away like that.
they just didn't seem to be on the same page there at the line out time. Now Leinster have a line out of their own. It's a really good take from Soroka. Penny with the carry up the middle. Byrne goes to the air. Who's going to claim this one?
Good take initially,
But it goes
Ben
back.
O'Connor, but it's gone backwards.
And now Munster have an opportunity. Patterson, Conor O'Tierney making a nuisance of himself in there. Patterson to Haddon. Started in Gorior FC. George Haddon came through the club system.
Yeah, a guy came through obviously Leinster, had an opportunity then to go down to Munster. He played here last week for Gary Owen. I think somebody that they regard pretty highly in Munster. Um, and hopefully, look, they need front row guys. Obviously, they made 2 signings this week.
But that's a loose pass.
Big chance here.
And can King get onto it? But it looks like O'Leary Kareem is going to look after it, but he juggles with it. And 8-all King, can't believe it. He thanks his lucky stars, and that's an easy try for him.
Very disappointing for Gene there. Look, sometimes the bounce of the ball doesn't go your way. You would have they regard very highly in Munster. And hopefully, look, they need front row guys. Obviously, they made 2 signings this week. Just poor
But that's
accuracy
a
there from
loose
Patterson on the
pass.
pass. Chance here
And can King get
on a
onto it?
turnover. Just keeps
But
chasing,
it looks
keeps
like O'Leary
hustling, and the
Kareem
ball bounces
is going to
his
look
way.
after it, but
But
he
again,
juggles.
having had a 5 meter line out there, you'd hope now Harry will get one over the post here.
They won't come easier for the out half. The King did really well there. Very alert, very aware.
He was pretty alert and he chased it pretty well. Kept in the fight there. He had a couple of Munster bodies ahead of him. You know, you're probably thinking as a winger there, best case scenario is that you'll get maybe a 5 minute scrum if he's got to carry it back over, but obviously just on the grounding, Gene wasn't as accurate as he would like to be.
And his third time lucky for Harry Byrne as he knocks over the extras.
Don't think he could have afforded another miss. He yanked off.
But they have an exciting young out half that you know well, Casper Gabriel on the bench today.
Yeah, look, obviously coached him for a couple of years in the school. He's into the club now. You don't apply too much pressure to a young guy who's learning his trade. But I think look, he's a pretty talented kid, and hopefully now he'll get a good run, a minutes in the second half. He knows this pitch pretty well.
Butler sends it long. Corrigan went to school in Presbray. Is eligible for the Irish under-20s this year as well.
That's right. Yeah, I think him and Spicer are both eligible again. So you know you probably see those guys feature pretty heavily in the second row.
Foley goes for the box kick and he finds touch, but it's out in the full. And Munster will get the line out. Munster need to score though, you feel, Sean, just for the confidence, or this game could get away from them.
Yeah, now look, having said that, look, they are up the hill here. So, you know, 17 points, not something that you can't. And as we talked about, you know, pre the game, it's going to be a lot of changes in the second half, which you don't know how that will play out. But you'd love to see them get a score here, just to keep in touching distance.
O'Connell, solid as you like in the line out. Gleeson takes it. Munster using their forwards to good effect here. Butler. Fox. Butler again. Leinster's defence looks more organised now. Butler. Terhern. He stretches the legs. But we're coming back for the penalty. But that's the first real time we've seen Ahern get a bit of room to show what he can do.
Yeah, again, he got into good position there. Again, I think kind of similar to Harry earlier on. He maybe forcing the offload, and potentially he had the knowledge there that the Munster had a penalty advantage, so you can kind of up the risk threshold a little bit. But penalty here, you'd imagine Munster are going to go for the corner. They seem to be a little bit more accurate. Hopefully Butler makes touch, and then secondly, that they're a little bit better at the line out operation.
Tony Butler, formerly Gary Owen, but now plays his rugby in Young Munster.
Yeah, brilliant player, Tony. Would have come through Ennis as a youth, which you don't see a huge amount at out half. I find now Munster actually have two at the moment on their books in the academy. Dylan Hicks would have come through Bantry, I believe, and Tony through Ennis. So they haven't come through the school system, but just really talented footballers. And what I really like there is he's pushed it to the absolute limit again, Tony. We obviously missed the kick earlier.
The confidence hasn't been affected.
Yeah, it could have been
which
pretty
is
easy for
nice,
him.
which
No,
is
it's really
good to
good to
see
see.
from out
Good seeing
halves.
it then. Look, I think he's really talented player. He would have been with Gary Owen, I think, first out of school. And then he's subsequently with Young Munsters. You said we played against him a couple of times, and I really rate him. So great to see him land that kick.
But they have to make sure the accuracy is right in this line out, and it is. They get it down quickly to Gleeson. But Leinster deal with him pretty well. Here's Daly. He's pushed back. Another penalty advantage.
Yeah.
Ronan Fox. Tullamore, man. The pass over the top. Lands into the path of McCarthy. That one was right on the toes of Ruin Quinn. I don't know how he managed to catch that one. This is Munster's chance, you feel. Butler goes crossfield. He finds his winger. Gordon Wood throws it back inside. But Ben O'Connor was bundled into touch.
Really good, I thought, attack and defence there. Really good crossfield from Tony. Executed it brilliantly, ID'd it really well. And then the cover defence there from Leinster to be able to repel them and hold them out. Ben O'Connor be disappointed with the opportunity there. He couldn't manage to finish it, but I think credit to the Leinster scramble there was really good. So it looked like
better invention in the play though.
No, really good. It really was. They're going to go tap and go here. Looks like a bit far out potentially. I don't know if they've play designed.
Not waiting around. Yeah. Brian Gleeson on the peel. Terhern. Munster want that ball. And they're going to get the penalty. Yeah, and is there a shout for a yellow card here, Sean?
Looks like it is. They're going to yellow. I think is it John McKee is going off? No, sorry, Soraka. No, sorry, Usanoff even. Is going off.
And are they going to go for that invention at the quick tap again, Munster?
No, they look like they're going. Obviously, when there's a man down here now for Leinster, so if they go full leg,
they have the numbers in the line out.
Mark advantage. Might play well.
Show the muscle. But the first key task is, of course, making sure you find your man in that line. Owen Clark, as I said, started his rugby in Sea Point, but went to school in CBC Monkstown.
Yeah, I think it's a Leinster front row actually for Munster tonight between Ronan Fox, Owen Clark, and George Haddon would have all started, and have obviously gone down to find opportunity in Munster.
Well, Ronan Fox and George Haddon both really impressed that year. Ireland under-20s made it to the World Cup final.
I think they're both really good prospects for Munster and Irish rugby, so it's great. And probably, something that's in the media a good bit at the moment about guys maybe moving for opportunity. They've obviously done it, and hopefully they'll find it in Munster at the moment, who probably have not a huge amount of depth in front row.
Fortune favours the brave, as they say.
No, big time.
Crooked
there.
But again,
That's really disappointing.
Just that finishing touch from Munster, it's just not there at the moment.
Yeah, just at the five there, it's pretty criminal. Obviously, there's no compete from Leinster, so it's pretty much a free throw. Owen would be very disappointed with that. His darts are a really good part of his game. But just that composure when you're in the red zone, Munster obviously really could use with a score here, as we said before, coming into half time. So Leinster are going to have to make a change, obviously, with Usanoff off. They're going to have to get a prop on. You'd imagine they'll probably drop somebody from the pack, maybe a back row.
Ben Howard likely to come in here.
I would think so, yeah. So one of our fellas, I think he's been dragged from the warm up here. Yeah, he's coming on. So former Irish 20s himself would have been with
Last year's
Usanoff.
group.
Yeah, the two of them together. So look, unfortunately, with Leinster, it hasn't opened up for him. But I really do believe there's a professional rugby player in there and a pretty good professional. So Billy Carrigan's off. I'd say they might put Ciaron into second row, put him with Spicer. No, sorry, Billy had actually come on into the back row, so they keep with Tree and Spicer there.
Spicer offers a whole load of weight.
Yeah. Look, I'd say Rory Maguire's pretty happy to have him behind him for the evening's assignment.
Man mounted, I like to call him.
Look, he's just we don't have many people in the Irish team pool who look like Alan. And I know Leinster.
It's kind of that South African style, isn't it?
He's unique, he's a huge, powerful guy, and hopefully now over the coming years he'll really find his space. If you look, Devin Toner was probably the most comparable guy we've had, but the thing about Spicer, he's actually a good bit bigger than Devin in terms of his kind of how he's filled out. So he could be a guy who's really, really important for Irish rugby.
Munster trying to test this scrum. Penny takes it out the back. They'll be looking for an exit, but they might take it in one or two phases to create the space for Byrne.
I think they're going to go off 9 here.
But it's Foley who puts boot to ball. Here's Wood looking to run. O'Connell. Patterson pokes it in behind. Byrne looks to send it back, but he'll be disappointed with that effort.
They'll be pretty happy with that, Munster. Really well received there by Wood. Good carry back, and then kicked it into grass. Managed to get a bounce, and Harry will be disappointed with how he dealt with it.
Somebody always comes out on top in those kick tennis battles, and in that case, it was Munster.
No, definitely. Look, gives them a good platform here. Just want Clarkey to be accurate and give them a launch pad.
And it will be O'Connell who goes up, and that's better. Quinn. Munster going out wide again. Wood has a bit of space in front of him. He steps, puts on the afterburners, but he gets stopped just inside his 22. Gleeson. There's a try on here for Munster.
It's got to be accurate. Oh, you'd love him to.
Ahern
Score there.
stretches and he scores.
Really good. Found the edge. Like we talked about, that's maybe where they're going to get a little bit of purchase tonight. Leinster obviously pretty aggressive on their line speed, and that's where your vulnerability will be. But they did really, really well. Quick phase.
But he gets stopped just inside his 22. Gleeson.
The next one. Played it wide. Good bit of footwork again. Got go forward. Played really quick the ruck. And then Ahern's very tough to stop from that kind of distance. I actually thought the opportunity was gone. I thought he would tip it on. They had a free guy on the outside. I think it was Smith at 12. But really good to see Munster get that score and hopefully get it back now.
Tom Ahern actually started out as a fullback.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. Again, we talked about Spicer. Different types of athletic kind of freaks almost. Tom would have been, I think, came through in Waterford, I think Water Park, if I'm not mistaken. I was a fullback for them. And then obviously Munster, looked at the 6'9" guy. How are we going to use him? And he's gone into the pack, but I think he's definitely a future Irish international. Really, really impressive player.
And a routine too for Tony Butler there from the kicking tee. 17-7 the score here.
So it's only 10 points. It's not insurmountable. There's about 2 or 3 minutes on the clock in this first half, but I think if Munster can keep it like this, get themselves playing down the hill in the second half, they'll be pretty happy. Leinster had a lot of dominance early on, but Munster have really come back into the contest.
They're going to contest this one, but O'Connell takes it. Patterson with the box kick. Maloney gets his feet warmed up. O'Tierney throws it back inside to Soroka. Leinster find themselves in the 22 now. Here's Fahy. Looked exciting every time he's got the ball today.
Yeah, he hasn't had too much action, but when he's had it, he looks so tidy.
Byrne. King tips it on. Munster trying to get hands on. Fox is in there, but Leinster still have. Now it's Munster's defence that is being put to the test. Penny shows and goes. Byrne. This is solid defence though from Munster, it has to be said. They're making the tackles. They're fronting up well. And it's an intercept. And Ben O'Connor thought he was away. But the referee says, get back here. And the Munster faithful are not happy here.
Yeah, that could have been a huge swing. I couldn't really tell on the screen there, but he was offside. But if he had gotten that away, it had been 17-14 at the break. I think with Leinster still with a guy in the bin, they would have been delighted.
And what's that penalty for, Sean?
I think they're saying offside there, so that Ben maybe just jumped early and managed to get it. A pretty risky pass from Cormac. Foley at 9, trying to find. He obviously saw an opportunity on the edge, but big turning point. Could be if Leinster profit off this, which they could, although probably not the best kick out of Harry. They might get another. If they get a score here, that's a pretty big moment in the contest.
A bonus point in the bag as well if they get another score here.
Yeah. You just hope from Munster's perspective that Ben was, because if he wasn't offside there and you're looking back on that on Monday as a coach, you're thinking, look, that's a massive moment.
John McKee getting his orders. Red zone efficiency is so important in rugby nowadays, isn't it, Sean?
No, massively. Just crooked throw there, I think, unfortunately. Similar to Owen Clark in the first half. John would be disappointed with that. Again, a really good thrower himself. He doesn't seem too happy with it, protesting to the touch judge. But no, look, red zone, being good, being accurate in there when you get the opportunities is massive. And look, Leinster have probably been a little bit better in that zone tonight. Munster have had some more opportunities, but haven't always profited off them. But no, Leinster be disappointed. They've given up a really good one there. I'd say we're probably the clock zero on the scoreboard there, so you wouldn't imagine there's probably too much to play. I think if Munster can get out of this, kick it off, that weirdly to say, but I think they'll probably be the happier of the two teams going in at half time. Leinster had a big period of dominance early on in the contest, scored, and then Munster, have been able to turn the tide. And I don't think 10 points going down the hill with the win second half is going to be insurmountable. For again, it's just which team manages the subs better, because I think both sides have 10 or 9 or 8 lads to get on, and it's just not losing a bit of cohesion there.
Munster might look to get it off the park if it is half time.
We got a penalty here,
but Leinster coming with the squeeze, and they put the pressure on. They're on the hunt for that ball. But Munster put boot the ball. That's enough, says Paddy Patterson. 3 tries to 1. Ciaron Mangan got us started in the score, and then John McKee, Terenure's very own, got Leinster second. Atzel King won't get an easier try this year. But Munster finally found their response through the most experienced player they have today in Tom Ahern. So it's 17-7 at the break. Leinster lead. And we're back for the second half here in Lakelands Park. 17-7 the score in favour of Leinster. A good first half where Leinster threw most of the punches. Sean, is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think definitely the first 20 minutes Leinster were the dominant team, but Munster, to be fair to them, came back in and probably, whether it be Ben O'Connor's intercept or an opportunity on the line out maul, could have been a little bit closer on the scoreboard. So I think they'll be pretty happy with that second quarter. And I think they'll hope now with the wind in the hill they might be able to go on a little bit. Now I don't actually think the wind's too big of a factor, but the hill, I've coached a lot of games here. I know how these halves can go. So they have a big opportunity here to potentially get right back in the contest. I think they've made a change already. I see number 19 from Munster has come on.
Connor Ryan, that
Yeah,
should be.
I think it is UCC second row. So I'm not sure who. Evan O'Connell's still on. So is it the second row start?
Tom Ahern.
Tom Ahern, I think, might have been pulled.
And Leinster take that one. Brownlee. Foley with the kick. O'Connor goes up for it, but he's marshalled well by Mangan. Fox. But just a knock on in there for Munster. That Leinster defence again.
I think the first involvement there for Conor Ryan, probably just not up to the speed of the game yet, and a knock on, but gives Leinster a decent platform in or around the halfway line.
Sean Dogbo also on the bench for Munster today.
Yeah, again, I think he's pretty impressive athlete. Him and his brother Edwin, and
He'll be constantly remembered for that last ditch try against Italy.
that was brilliant. No, look, he looks really promising. No, he played a big part in UCC's win last weekend in the colours game against Trinity. Another guy who I think Munster feel has bags of potential and could potentially be a big player for them in the future. So hopefully we get to see a good bit of him tonight.
The Dogbo boys, the both of them, will hopefully have bright futures in the Munster jersey.
Yeah, you'd hope so for them. Again, just real good athletic profile on both of them, and
Byrne
pretty intelligent rugby players. Great kick in there.
pins it in behind. O'Connor struggles to deal with that one.
Yeah, knock on from Leinster, I think, but yeah, won't be happy with the space they left up, and then let Leinster get an entry point.
But a good kick from Harry Byrne.
Yeah, really good kick from Harry. And just unfortunate when the ball got blocked down, they couldn't regather it.
Patterson just assessing his options, seeing where that ball is. That's a solid take from Maloney. Won a Leinster School Senior Cup with Blackrock.
Yeah, he's going to be a really special player. People don't know about him yet. Currently lined now for UCD at fullback and just looks kind of a class above the AIL early doors. Had some injury troubles early on. So, but somebody I think people should definitely remember the name. I think he could be a pretty special player for Leinster over the next few years.
Byrne goes back to the kicking strategy. Butler does really well there though. But Leinster have managed to steal it. Howard. Byrne takes it to the line. Finds the support of King. But Munster got inside the passing channel there and nabbed the ball away. Shouts for a penalty for Munster.
Yeah, I think pretty unlucky for Munster there. They had a couple of bodies in on the ball. I just don't know how much of a lift they were doing on the ball. I think they probably thought, listen, if we get hands on, ref may be looking for a lifting action, which probably would have given them the penalty.
Both teams making mistakes early in the second half here. Handling errors. But here's O'Connor. Patterson looks for the room. Shane McCarthy's chasing it. Cormac Foley's there to look after it, but he's under pressure. He finds it's out half Byrne, but Byrne just tries to get that ball away from him as quickly as possible. And Munster are on the doorstep now.
Yeah, really good kick in behind. I thought Cormac actually did pretty well to manage to get out of a jam there. Gives it to Harry. He doesn't have much more option. Kicks it off, but again, it gives Munster a really good entry point. They'll want to be a little bit more accurate than they were in the first half off this line out. Um,
Looks like Leinster are bringing in the reinforcements as well.
I think it's their
Bill,
yellow back.
Billy
So
Carrigan.
Billy, and I think
Billy's
Luke
back.
comes back in, gives them full eight. So this scrum here, they're saying?
Munster going for the scrum. Back in their forwards.
Don't know if it was a forward pass potentially from Cormac to Harry when he kicked off there. So um, it's a big opportunity for them. But obviously Leinster back to eight as well.
And considering Leinster were 17-0 up at one stage, if Munster could score here, it could potentially be a 3-point game.
No, big time.
Patterson feeds. But it's Leinster who get the penalty at the scrum. And I'm not a man for the scrum, Sean, so I'll let you analyse that one.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think most will be disappointed with it. I couldn't really see on that side, but it seems to be penalised at Munster's loose head and Leinster's tight. Um, so again, gives Leinster an opportunity to relieve some pressure. It's just Munster not being as accurate as they've needed to be, between that scrum in and around the 5 metre, their line out in and around the 5 metre. They'll need to be a bit better. They've had a crooked throw. They've had a malfunction at the line out. They've had a scrum penalty against them. And you can't keep on giving up opportunities like that. We talked about, before half time, the red zone efficiency, and Munster will be pretty disappointed. They've had some good entry points and just haven't been able to convert them into scores and give Leinster an easy out. Sean McKee, I think, down here receiving a bit of treatment.
And what do you think, if there is senior coaches here today, what do you think they're looking for from these young lads from games like this?
Yeah, well, I saw Sean O'Brien, I think, is with Leinster tonight. He's bibbed up, and I saw Mike Prendergast, Alex Codling, who I think is the new forwards coach for Munster, our pitch side here. So, I think, look, that in that case, Mike will know the lay of the land pretty well in terms of the Munster squad. Alex is new in, Sean similar to Mike, but I think they're just looking for guys who are showing that they're above this level, that they really make an impact, and therefore when they come to the coaches room, knock on there by
And
Bennett.
that just one bobbles out of Ben O'Connor's hands.
But I think when they come into the coaches, for URC selection, and they've gone really well in a contest like this, that's your currency. Like for any player, current performance got to be the main currency, and playing at a high level in this standard, hopefully, puts you in a decent spot to get a URC appearance. And there's a couple of guys who've obviously gone well both sides here, and I think that's what the coach will be looking for.
Harry Burns has been happy to go to the air on many occasions tonight.
Yeah, look, he's got a really varied kicking game. Harry's somebody who probably, didn't envisage himself playing in Lakelands on a Friday night in an A game a couple of years ago. Career looked like it was going to take a different
But
trajectory.
the opposite to that is Gus McCarthy tomorrow. He's a player you probably would have expected to be playing in a game
that's
like
the
this.
thing. Like, whether it be injuries or opportunity or guys doing really well in an environment. I think Harry at one point, you see all the kind of hype around Sam Prendergast at the moment, leading into his first start against Fiji tomorrow. And once upon a time, Harry was probably that guy. People thought maybe he'd be the long-term successor to Sexton and Leinster, and potentially with an Ireland jersey. It just hasn't happened. But he'd be really keen to.
Him and O'Connor exchanging the kicking.
Yeah.
But O'Connor just put a little bit too much on that one.
I thought it was going to get inside flag there. So look, a bad error gives Leinster another scrum opportunity. But back to Harry, look, you'd love to see him kick on. I don't know. Obviously, there's so much competition in the Leinster jersey. His own brother Ross. You've got Ciaron Frawley. You've got Sam Prendergast. It makes it tricky to try and divvy out minutes. And I know, there's been talk of Harry going to Connacht in the past, but you'd really like to see him stay with one of the provinces. We talked about the Munster lads in the front row tonight who've moved down. You'd hope that somewhere there'd be an opportunity for him in Ireland. You've got Josh Ione and Connacht. But in Munster behind Jack, obviously they got Billy Burns there. They've got Tony, Dylan Hicks. Maybe that could work, or potentially Connacht. But you'd love to see him stay in the island of Ireland, put himself forward for international honours because he's definitely got all the talent to do it. It's just maybe getting that regular opportunity to play, and that's probably the biggest issue for some of these Leinster guys. Maybe just not getting that opportunity sometimes.
The Leinster scrum inside Munster territory. Foley. They put on the pressure and they get the penalty. Just flexing the muscles a little bit there, Leinster.
Yeah, look, that was Rory Maguire in on Ronan Fox, I think. Again, this has just come from a bit of kick tennis. Ben being a little bit inaccurate with his kick, and giving Leinster potentially an opportunity to go to the corner here.
That's exactly what Byrne is going to do. Just nudges it in.
Yeah, they're about 6 or 7 meters out. I think if Leinster manage to get a score off this, I think that could be the game in terms of who's going to come out on the right side of it. Foley looks like he's been called aside, and Fintan Gunn, one of our own here in the club, is coming on. Again, another guy similar to kind of Ruben Maloney. I think you're going to see a lot of over the coming years, both for Leinster, Ireland. I think, just one of the most talented players you'll come across, and somebody again. You just hope opportunity comes up. Obviously with Gibson Park, Leinster
So
acting.
Tierney takes it down. They go to that maul. They
Munster
twist and
inside
turn. Where is that ball though? Munster have disrupted it.
well repelled there. But just back to Finton, yeah. Look, you look at that Leinster depth chart, with Gibson Park and Luke McGrath there. Two really good
Having
established
to let
guys.
Ben Murphy. Ben Murphy's gone to Connacht, and
But
look what he's
yeah,
doing now.
yeah,
So
that's the thing, but again, just shows maybe the value sometimes of players taking that chance and going somewhere. Ben's obviously gone to Connacht and taking it with both hands. Obviously, Keelan Blade would have been the probably established nine there, but it looks like Ben's nudged himself ahead, and I can't imagine he's a million miles off international camps and things like that.
a chance for Leinster to run it back through Scott Penny. Byrne to Maloney, but he's not given much to work with. Gunn with his first touch. That one flings out of the hands of Spicer.
Yeah, it's just tough when you play out one of those tight shapes. Munster had good line speed, and they hit Spicer obviously. And he's right in the tackle contest pretty much as soon as he gets it now. I'm sure he would have hoped to be a little bit more accurate on the ball. Maybe the back door was on for Leinster there. It looked like Munster were a little bit exposed on outside edge if they got another pass, but that gives Munster an opportunity here. This is kind of as a back line what you're really hoping for.
The Leinster selection today was coming up towards 240 caps.
Yeah, like I think Scott and Harry probably a lot of that.
144 of
Yeah,
those caps.
yeah, geez, okay, so more than 50%. A lot of kind of young raw guys in there for Leinster. Next generation. Uh,
James Culhan was meant to start tonight, but had to pull out.
yeah, he's another guy who looks a really impressive prospect. Couple of injury issues as well, so you'd hope to see him get a run of games. And this is the type of contest, I'm sure he would have really hoped to have been involved in and put his hand up. Meant Scott moved to 8. And Lee Maloney came in, but as we said earlier in the first half, Lee Maloney came off.
And of course, this is a special competition this year to mark the 150th anniversary of the Irish Rugby Football Union.
Yeah, it's a massive year for the RFU, obviously, and I know there are a few things planned around it. They're playing this Interpro competition at A grade as part of those celebrations, and yeah, look, it puts a little bit of currency in the competition. Obviously, both clubs would be very proud. They want to win it. Um,
That's a big pass, but calls a forward.
yeah,
Ring around Lakelands Park, and Leinster will have to put in at the scrum.
yeah. Look,
And a
push,
dog bow's coming in now.
push there. Yeah, Dogbo's coming on. A couple of changes. Um, in the front row, I think Calvy's coming in.
It's an Irish under 20 last season, Emmett Calvey.
Yeah, and then Connor Bartley, I actually coached him with the Irish clubs last year.
Short
Yeah,
term
Munster.
contract.
Yeah, yeah, I don't understand how he hasn't got a contract sooner. He was out in Perth the last while. I think Western Force were having a look at him. Just a brilliant player, and one of the nicest guys, most humorous fellas you come across. Started against at tight head for the Irish clubs last year in Lisbon against Portugal. was absolutely brilliant. Really, really good player, and hopefully, look at 29, but in front row terms, not the same. Maybe he's got a good few years left in him. I just really hope he can kick on because I think he's definitely somebody that Munster should be taking advantage of.
We'll have a reset here. The referee not happy with something. He's just moving them.
Scott Buckley on as well. Actually, Scott was out in Randwick and the Shoot Shields in Sydney over the summer. I was out there myself and I met him.
Michael Cheika's club Randwick.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's where Cheika was actually originally came to Leinster from. But he went out to get a bit of game time. He subsequently moved from UCC to Cork Con in the All Ireland League, which, to be honest with you, I hated to see. I had Scott. He was a Munster 19 when I was coaching the Munster pathway a couple of years ago, and always thought he'd be a big player for Munster. So hopefully now he gets a good run of games, keeps injury free, and can push himself into selection with the senior team.
Another exciting scrum half who isn't involved today is Ollie Coffey of Blackrock.
Yeah, brilliant player. Again, I think in Leinster they've got two really talented youngsters in Finton and.
But it's Munster.
Big penalty there. Front rows
who get the penalty now.
Massive there for Munster.
And the bomb squad have made an impact for Munster.
Yeah, big time. And hopefully now gives them a good possession. But no, Oliver Coffey, just somebody similar to Finton. Going obviously would have come out of St. Michael's. Has come in here to Terenure. Oliver would have been actually a Terenure mini, would you believe? Went to Blackrock and then ultimately has gone into Stradbrook now as the rugby club. But I think in Leinster, obviously, they've got their established nines, Cormac Foley, part of that with Luke and James Gibson Park. But I think in Oliver Coffey and Finton Gunn, they have two really talented youngsters who you'd hope will be pushing for minutes at senior level in the coming seasons.
And the first assignment for Buckley now at the line out. He'll be looking to pass it with flying colours. He finds O'Connell, but it's crooked.
Look, disappointing for Scott. I think it's the third or fourth crooked throw we've had tonight between the two teams. You don't see as much at this level. I think it was a tough contested line out for him to go to, actually. Maybe a bit more movement, would have found a free slot, but particularly for his first throw. Hopefully now he shakes that off. But again, it just goes back to Munster just being that little bit inaccurate when they've had these opportunities. Whether it be line out or scrum, when they've had platforms to attack off, they've erred.
And what is that? Is that lack of time together? Is that lack of confidence?
That's definitely one. Look, that the Munster line out hasn't been going well this season. So look, I don't know the inner workings of it. I know they've made a change in coaching last couple of weeks.
But even the Irish line out in recent weeks has been an issue.
Yeah, it's contested. But look, I think obviously counter analysis, all that's gone very good. Defensive line outs are really good. Obviously, Leinster getting bodies up. Usually, if you're a little bit higher up and you're inside 22 and they're worried about the drive, they might stick down. Obviously, Leinster got bodies up and it puts Scott off. But again, big scrum here for Leinster.
And it's Leinster who turn up the heat at the scrum. And it's them who get the penalty, but Gunn's not waiting around.
Right.
But the referee just isn't letting it flow here. And he's telling Gunn, you have to come back.
Yeah, you would have loved to have seen that happen. Finton trying to inject a bit of pace into the game.
The Gunn show was about to take off there.
Yeah. Locally known. I think just maybe ahead of the mark potentially is what the ref was saying, or maybe he was chatting to the two front rows, but it's kind of gone a bit dead here since the second half started. There's been like a few errors and it's kind of been scrum coming. And like we talked about, when you're making this many changes,
But that
have a little bit of that
cohesion won't be there. It's natural that.
And Adam LeGrew, come on here, turn your club man, not involved with the Leinster pathway. So
AIS stalwart, I would say.
Yeah, just brilliant player, brilliant guy. So absolutely delighted for him. He's come on for Ciaron Mangan, I think.
Soroka going to Byrne.
Great hit from Gene there.
Byrne. Tony Butler does well to keep him up there, but the Leinster man gets the ground. Soroka. But Gunn will be disappointed with. Well, it's a good kick from Gunn. I was going to say it looked like it was out in the full, but
it's managed. I think it was pretty tight either way.
Managed to squeak on the right side for Leinster.
Yeah.
Did Ben O'Connor just take it at the wrong time, maybe, for Munster there?
Seems to have.
He should have let it go, maybe, potentially.
That's a tough one when you're trying to cover that corner there, because obviously they're worried about 50-22 entries as well. I don't know if Finton was in his half there, but look, gives another platform here for Leinster.
And the
That
game
one.
just needs something, doesn't it, Sean? A
Yeah,
bit
it
of
does.
injection.
Just died here in this third quarter. Unfortunately. Again, a lot of changes on the pitch, both sides. That can disrupt the flow. Free kick against Leinster, too slow. Big opportunity missed there. But again, kind of in keeping with the story of the game in the second half.
The intensity just, that urgency, it's just not
I
there.
think they're trying. They're all trying, but you know, you've a lot of different bodies coming on. Ruben Maloney with the kick there.
That's a contestable. O'Connor's after it, but he can't grasp it. Burn now. A dog bow with the tackle. Soroka. Both teams struggling to put the phases together in this half, so it'll be interesting to see
Nice by Brownlee there.
if Leinster can change it. That's a great offload.
Great pass from Adam.
And this is the first real break we've had in the second half. Leinster on the move. Spicer
Nice.
to Brownlee to Corrigan.
Square up here.
He has a bit of support with him. Maloney
Squirrel.
throws it back inside to Corrigan, but that one was a little bit behind him.
Yeah, look, I think Billy will be disappointed with that. Really good play from Ruben to get that space. And obviously an error. Adam's got to drop back here. Good chat from Harry.
Leinster
gives them two guys covering the backfield. It's really important here. Munster looking to exit.
Leinster don't want to give Munster an easy escape, but Munster are going to get it away. Just in front of our commentary box here.
Yeah, I was worried about don't know how well constructed this shed is.
This was the first real time in the second half where we've seen a break, a bit of move. Leinster will be back in action in this A Championship the weekend before Christmas, the 21st, against Connacht the Eagles in Old Belvedere Rugby Club. Munster will be playing in Nina Ormond RFC against Ulster next week.
Nice.
That's a good take in the line out.
Yeah, good carry there. I think they're going to come short side here.
Gun.
Ruben on the left.
Maloney.
Really good kick. Really good.
Spots the corner, but it doesn't bounce for him.
Nice carry back.
Leinster, though, they get the numbers there and they win the ball at the ruck.
Play that bounce back play off the line out. Ruben's got his left foot, so you know he's pretty accurate there. And then I think it was Oisin Pepper collected it, and just got a little bit isolated on his carry back. I thought he did really well to manage it as well, but just maybe support around him wasn't what it needed to be. And Leinster going to the 5 here, they're really going to hope that they're going to be accurate here.
You need to convert in these areas.
No, big time. Look, both teams probably guilty of not being as accurate as they would like.
McKee.
As I say, I think if Leinster can get a score here,
they go right to the back. They shift it quickly to Corrigan.
Could be breakdown issues here for Leinster.
They're lining up. Who's next?
Are you trying to take his dog then, right?
Corrigan, twisting and turning. Gun. Patience the key for Leinster. They put it out wide.
Yeah, really good score.
And they score in the corner.
Fatsal King there. He actually did that against Terenure in an AIL final not so long ago with Clontar. He just really, really good with those outside edge finishes. Really nice play from Leinster. They were pretty controlled there. I thought they were patient. Just played off 9. Managed to kind of get a lot of Munster defenders committed to the contact.
Corrigan, twisting and turning. Gun. Patience the key for Leinster. They put it out wide.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Conor Fahey, I think, went to 13 there. He stood in his first receiver. Just made a nice soft pass. an Atzel King when he's that close to the goal line.
And he gets his brace, but he actually scored his first Leinster try against the Dragons early on this season in the URC in the Aviva Stadium, of all places to get your first try. That's a nice place.
He's a pretty special player, I think. Obviously came through, I think, Balbriggan originally, and then went to CUS for a while. And he's been a big part of Clontarf the last couple of years. I think he's third year academy. So again, like a lot of these lads, when you're third year academy, decisions made at the end of the year whether or not you're going to be retained as a part of the senior squad or not. So it can be pretty stressful. And any of these opportunities, you're trying to make the most of it. 2 tries tonight, don't think does Atzel's prospects any harm.
His mother comes from the Basque country in Bilbao in Spain. Leinster have got their 4th try now as well. So that's the bonus point in the bag.
Yeah. Another misconversion, unfortunately. So they've left
1 from 4 from Harry Byrne tonight. And that one lands in the hands of Fahy.
Yeah, he's been really good tonight in what he has had to do, I think. Really impressed with him.
Byrne goes back to his old reliable boot. And O'Connor wants to run it back. But that one
big offload
lands in the hands of the Leinster man. And just the bounce of the ball isn't going the way of Munster at the moment. Usinoff.
I think that was knock on, actually. Usinoff tried to pull out the back, hit another Leinster player, but I think they got away with it.
Tierney. Leinster in the ascendancy now.
Yeah, they are. And again, getting a bit more comfortable on these edges.
And they get it to the edge. Stephen Smith
really
made 2 appearances for Leinster last month.
Yeah, I think look, probably offside from Ben O'Connor there, and maybe even high on the entry. Stephen Smith, guy who converted from back row, Kilkenny College.
And that's a lovely crossfield ball.
Brilliant.
Maloney's after it, but the bounce doesn't favour him. And Munster have an opportunity to counter-attack.
Oh.
And Gene O'Leary-Kareem throws it back.
I think unlucky there.
Munster are hungry for it now. A dog boat. O'Leary-Kareem.
Yeah, he sees the space well, but I think he'll go back for penalty advantage here. I think a little bit unlucky. I think it was Atzel again, who was off his wing. And they're going to call him back. I think they're going to yellow card him, which I think that's a harsh call. For Atzel. Couple of minutes post his try, he's getting yellow carded there. I think they're saying off his feet, but I thought he got a good contest on the ball for a while there. I thought potentially could have been a penalty for Leinster, but Munster will hope to profit off that.
1 minute a hero, the next minute a villain.
Yeah, I think it's Dylan Hicks on here for Munster for Tony at 10. So
Hicks, another product of the club system in Munster.
Yeah, well, look, they're like Munster have been pretty adaptive. I think that, they haven't maybe had the school system that Leinster have had in recent years, and they haven't probably had the players emerge from it. And they've looked into the clubs, and there's a lot of talent there. It's just about harnessing it. Oftentimes they maybe don't come from a schools environment where they're training 4 or 5 times a week, but there's excellent coaches in the club's game. I know Munster have really prided themselves on finding those guys and developing them themselves. So hopefully with Tony and
but that's a great steal at the line out. And it's just, we keep going back to it, but it's in those key moments. Munster have just been lacking.
Yeah, look, it just hasn't been good enough. Another big opportunity there. Line out entry and Casper Gabriel offside. So
that was almost a tough entry for him into the game.
Yeah.
But thankfully the referee's whistle and the penalty saves him.
Got away with it. So left footer. More difficult side from here. He's obviously come on for Harry. So really excited to see how he goes at this level. Made his Leinster A debut last week when Leinster beat Connacht. I think it was 28-7, Ciaron, was it? I didn't see the game, but he made his first Leinster A appearance. So
I know you're very familiar with a lot of players on this pitch, but Casper's actually someone you brought from the school through to the club as well.
Yeah, it's the first one that we've had like that. He's from Austria originally, so kind of a unique backstory to him. He came over here when he was 14 on a tour with his club in Vienna, and a couple of people happened to come across the game he was playing in and said, look, would you be interested in coming to Terenure? And moved over, lived with our director of rugby, Morgan. I was surprised he stayed, to be honest with you, after that.
But Munster have a chance now.
Nice there.
O'Leary-Kareem growing into this second half.
Ah, really good. Really good there. Casper on the breakdown there and managed to get the penalty back. But he came over. He lived in lived with a time with Moggy, but obviously, he wanted to get out of there as quick as he could. And he went in, lived with a classmate for a couple of years. Parents really supportive. They've been over a lot from Vienna, but not Irish qualified yet. So he is under 20s, but won't be eligible to play in the under 20 championship this season. And I think becomes Irish qualified the following. But he's somebody that I know Leinster and Irish rugby they value pretty highly, and he's got kind of a unique skill set, similar to kind of Sam Prendergast. And somebody hopefully in the coming years, look, we want to play our part in his development in the club. Obviously, we've had him in the school. I've coached him for a couple of years now, which probably doesn't help him to be honest. But hopefully he can kick on and be oh, line out inaccuracy there. I think it was crooked as
A
well.
bit sloppy in the line out from Leinster.
Yeah, they got away with it. I think it was crooked there. There's
But
a
these
couple of
crooked lineouts, there's a few strange calls to say the
yeah,
least.
I think Munster will be disappointed with that. Casper on the ball here.
Gabriel, Dunn,
He's close.
Tierney. Why didn't you find him when he was in first year, Sean? He would have been Irish qualified by now.
I know. Look, that question has been posed to me, but I know. Look, it's a long term thing with him. Still has a lot to learn. Obviously he's got a lot of positive press at the moment, and rightfully so because he's a really talented kid. But he still has a lot to learn, and I think hopefully this season with the AIL will be a really good development
Calvi
space for him. Yeah,
takes
good.
that one, and Munster get the penalty.
Yeah, kick in from
But the
Gunnar.
zip has gone out of the game. Just
Yeah, it has. Obviously, Leinster got that try from Atzel, and they've put themselves.
handling errors, inaccuracies.
Yeah, it has.
The
Look,
tempo's gone. It's a bit
and
just.
like we talked about before the game, look, when you have 10 subs either side, like sometimes you think it's great, 'cause you're going to get, a lot of guys opportunities and expose them to this level, but at the same time, it can kind of take the shape out of the game a bit. And I think we've seen that in the second half. You've had a lot of new combinations coming on. I think Leinster have been the better when the subs have come on. You would have expected Munster just need a good line out here. They haven't had a real nice attacking possession inside 22 for a couple of minutes.
They do have Danny Sheen on the bench as well.
Yeah, they do.
AIL winning hooker.
Yeah, you had to bring that up. Yeah, last season against Terenure with Cork on. But he's a pretty. I think he's Frankie Sheen's nephew, if I'm not mistaken. Himself and his brother Jacob. Yeah, good
The
line out
dog
here.
boat.
Went to a dog boat.
Hicks. And it looked like Gleeson was coming. He was steam training in, but it just didn't go to his hands.
And look, inaccuracy again from Munster. You know, I'm not sure who came up. I think it was Wood in the midfield there. And he just gave an intercept. So again, just Munster just haven't been able to kind of sustain any level of pressure, or be able to hold on to the ball and look after it. Casper with a good touch finder there, gives Leinster a decent opportunity to go off. We've had a change, obviously, at hooker. Stephen Smith now. I think it's his first line out that he'll have. As I said, like really, really impressive kid. Had Kilkenny College was back row initially, so he's one of those guys. I think anybody who's maybe not the size of Caelan Doris in the back row nowadays, there's talk of them converting, but he's the one who's really been successful for Leinster.
And there's three old Wesley men on the pitch
That's
now.
right, yeah.
Billy Corrigan, Stephen Smith, and Mahan Ronan. Mahan Ronan came through the ranks of Boyne RFC.
Yeah. Looks a really impressive player. I have to say, I haven't seen too much of him. But from everything I hear from contacts in Wesley, they really rate him.
Gabriel puts it in behind, but O'Connor claims it. A dog boat.
Leinster putting a bit of pressure here.
Conversation with my friends.
And they find touch. And it'll be another line out for Stephen Smith.
Yeah, Casper kicked it there. Obviously, I think it was pre-planned on first phase. Can get a great amount of purchase off it, but they get another opportunity, and I think Leinster are going to be happy for the ball to be played around here. If it's in between the 222s now for the next while.
And is Smith one of the fortunate guys in this whole hooker issue with Leinster at the minute with all the injuries? He's got two caps for Leinster in the last month, which he probably wouldn't have expected at the start of the year.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Brilliant for him. Obviously, John McKee, one of our own, had injury problems earlier on, and then obviously Dan Sheehan's a long term with his torn ACL, and you hope to see him back on the pitch as soon as possible for Ireland, Leinster, and potentially the British and Irish Lions. But it gives these other guys opportunity. I think, look, the great thing about Leinster is, they have always backed their young talent, and that with Gus McCarthy and Stephen Smith waiting in the wings, like it's some level of talent to be able to bring through. And I think for
And you
them,
best believe there could be someone next year as well.
well, definitely, like look, that's just the way that the system is here. You've got tomorrow morning, there'll be 8 or 9 schools games around Dublin with the next generation of that all going against.
Luke McLaughlin
Yeah,
is
Luke,
probably the next one in the line.
yeah, obviously Drew
Rian
Gonzalez,
Hanley as well.
Rian Hanley. So look, there's
Mahan Ronan
just
struggles to take that one, but it bounces on the Leinster side. Gabriel,
Casper so good at getting close to the line and being able to play it late, which obviously is very difficult for defences to deal with.
he's confident.
Got some lucky on the pass there. Adam LeGroux.
LeGroux, very used to this pitch.
In there.
Mahan Ronan is drilled back.
I think it's Sheehan there.
O'Connell was involved as well.
So Leinster won't be happy. They'll look to go on a contest here off Gunner.
They have no choice there. They go to the sky again. Buckley,
Injury there to I'm not sure what Leinster player. I think it could be
Alex Soroka,
Alex. Oh, jeez, I hope it's not anything too serious.
It's actually not that bad.
Scott Penny is down, and so is Alex Soroka. They're both down. Alex Soroka, like we said earlier, a player that probably could have played a lot more last season, but injuries just didn't allow.
Yeah, look, just fingers crossed, nothing too serious. Hopefully it's not. Look, he could be a really, really important player for Leinster. I think in the next few years, if he can just stay injury free. He hasn't had that look, unfortunately. You can see him there just walking off the pitch, his athletic profile. He's a monster. And
But that's another thing with rugby now in Ireland. There's so much talent out there. It's about staying injury free and just getting the breaks.
yeah, just take your opportunity. Like again, we talked about Guff earlier on. Like here was a guy a couple of weeks ago. I think was due to line out for UCD in the AIL. 6 weeks later, he's making his Irish debut. So like opportunity can come if you're injury free. I think in Leinster, to be fair, they're really good at providing opportunities and pathways for younger players. It's about maybe they had too many and finding those opportunities and pathways elsewhere. If that's the case, as we talked about with Munster's front row to start and Fox and Haddon and stuff going elsewhere. But look, there's loads of talent. I know Andy Farrell during the week was talking about maybe a lack of depth, but I think that just comes from the fact that these guys maybe don't get as enough URC exposure. And if you're going to feature in the international arena, geez, bad scrum.
And Leinster show their power there.
Brian, St Mary's product, come on in the back row there, number 20 for Leinster.
One of the brightest talents in Leinster schools rugby, I'd say, in the last couple of years, Aaron O'Brien.
Yeah, really physical guy. Part of a pretty good St Mary's team last year that ended up getting to a semi-final.
Suits Evan Moynihan as well.
That's right, yeah. Evan would probably be involved in the Irish 20s this season. St Mary's have been, had a real resurgence at club and school the last couple of years. Great to see for us in D6 that there's that level of competition. For us on our doorstep. Senior Cup, obviously they've been to a couple of semi-finals, and a Junior Cup, obviously winning it against Terenure last year. So plenty of young talent coming through. And
Smith with the throw. Ronan takes it down. Smith has it at the back. Gunn just has his fingertips on this one. He'll decide when to take it out or if to take it out, and he does take it out. To his centre, Brownlee. Gunn to Penny, the captain today. O'Brien. Harrigan.
Yes, you guys used to play that. No, so
They're knocking on the door. The short line. Just a metre short about. The pick and go. Gunn might swing it now to Gabriel.
shot there, really good shot. I'm not sure who the Munster player was.
Well, Leinster will have the penalty. Platform for a quick tap, Sean, maybe?
Yeah, they might have something here that they've worked on. They could go scrum. They've had a pretty dominant scrum in the last couple of sets. Nah, they're going to tap and go here. So Smith lining up with Billy Corgan, Mahon Rowan here, I think.
These are all about taking the exercises you have on the training pitch
That's it.
and
I wouldn't
testing
have
them
had
out in the
much time
pitch.
here. Good carry. I think could be held up here by Munster. Yeah.
And the Munster defence stand up tall. Aaron O'Brien potentially was the man
Was he on the ball?
uh,
Yeah.
held up over that line.
Yeah, look, tough one. Munster did well. Look, that goal line law, I'm not so sure. I love it. The attacking team gets penalised pretty badly. Um, when they're getting close to the goal line, if there's just a little bit of lack of accuracy. So
Carrigan,
good carry there.
Gabriel.
Really nice.
He's an attack-minded 10, isn't he, Gabriel?
Nah, big time. Look, he'll play the line.
Front foot
See him
ball.
there, look. He's trying to get through those little seams and get his hands free and offload, which is not, the norm really for Irish tens, pretty much. And I think Johnny Sexton probably has been the stereo or the archetype over the last couple of years. And obviously, look, probably
King.
Ireland's best player. So not a bad archetype to go off. A very much controlling system guy, where Casper's probably that bit more freelance, if you want to say.
Going to Gabriel.
Good D by Munster here. Chelsea really hopes Smith sits in on that tackle.
Gabriel.
Really good hit there on Gabriel by a Dogbo.
A Dogbo was waiting for him, lining him up.
But when you play flat at the line, look, you're going to get a couple of hits like that, and it's just the way of it. I think Ruben Maloney's hurt himself there. I think he's okay.
Munster's defence. Dealing with Leinster's threat at the moment.
Yeah, Munster seem to have won that at the breakdown. Will they play
And
here?
O'Connor looks to play
Oh, really nice.
and gets it away.
Really good feed on the edge there. I'm not sure who. Oh,
And that's a
intercept.
steal from Leinster. Aaron O'Brien.
Ball away.
And he gets it away to King.
Gonna have
King
to look
throws
after the
it
ball
back
here.
to Mahon Ronan. Now it's Leinster back on the offensive.
Good feet. Really unlucky for Munster. They seem to have a bit of an outside break there, and just the intercept. Nice kick.
They
through.
poke it
Nice kick.
in
through.
behind,
I think carried over,
but Jack Oliver was there
and that's it.
to take it. But it's 22-7, a relatively quiet second half. 4 tries for Leinster, 1 try for Munster in the game. Atzel King with 2 to his name. John McKee scored a try up front. And Ciaron Mangan with the first one. Munster's only try came from Tom Ahern. It's finished 22-7 here in Lakelands Park. Leinster go 2 from 2 in the A Championship. And what did you think of that, Sean?
Yeah, look, first half I thought was much more of a contest when both teams had a bit more cohesion. Obviously Leinster were playing with the advantage of going down the hill, and they were a little bit more accurate. I think Munster will be disappointed with their performance. I think they had a couple of big opportunities offline out in scrum where they would have hoped to get a few scores and maybe make it a bit of a contest in the end game. Wasn't to be. You just hope any of the lads who came off with knocks, it's nothing too serious. And look, I think both, obviously Munster have a game, I think, next Saturday, you said, Ciaron, and then Leinster have a bit of an extended break for the 18 come back out. But all these lads in here are looking to potentially play with Irish 20s or with the URC team in the coming week. So hopefully for those at home, they got to look at a couple of guys who will feature for both clubs in the coming years a lot more regularly.
And that's all from us here today. 22-7 the score. And we'll see you again soon.